So productivity, I think it's something that we all want to increase, but it's definitely easier said than done. In order to be more productive, I think it takes intention and a lot of deliberation. You have to really know how you're spending your time. It takes a lot of presence and focus. Over the years, I have tried to be more productive. Some things have worked more than others. Today, I'm going to share what has worked for me, and yeah, let's just dive into it. Okay, so tip number one is to notice at what point in the day that you have the most energy and utilize that time for your creative work. So for me, this is the mornings. I feel great in the mornings after that first cup of coffee, pretty much like I can do anything. And for a long time, I was spending the mornings on editing, photo editing. And this didn't really make sense because I feel so comfortable editing now that it almost feels automated. It's kind of like driving a car. I don't really have to think about it. I can do it while, having friends playing in the background or something like that. Oh, boss. So it didn't make sense that I would use that time when I had the most energy to do something that comes very easily to me now and I don't really have to think much about. So now I use that time on my creative work, things like writing a blog post, making a video like this one, working on those creative projects. So my advice would be to find whatever time that you feel the best at and really focus on using that time for your creative work. So tip number two is to harness the power of frequency. So there's that saying that we underestimate what we can do in our lifetimes, but we overestimate what we can do throughout the day. So, for me, something that has really helped is just to work frequently on a project, even if it's for smaller periods of time. So think 25 minutes per day, I am working on this thing. And what happens is that I'm able to have more focus and connect the dots because it's always fresh in my mind. Whereas when you work on something sporadically, let's say for longer periods of time, once a week or once a month, every time you go back to working on that thing, you're using energy and time just trying to figure out where you're at, what place you're at in that project. It's just, it doesn't create momentum, and momentum is really the key thing for productivity. So I would say that if you have a project or even multiple projects, try working on them every single day, even if it's just for a little bit. That'll really increase the momentum. Now, number three, this is a big one, and that's to protect your energy. So look at the things that zap your energy throughout the day and avoid them or spend less time on them. For me, that is social media. I've had so many days where I spent 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, 5 minutes here on social media, and then pretty soon I've spent an hour on it of just mindless scrolling, looking at what other people are doing. That is time I am never going to get back. And so yeah, now, over the years, I've become very, very protective of my time. I really value my time, and just keep in mind that if you don't value your own time, other people aren't going to value it either. Note what you're doing and where you're spending your time, and if it's really adding value to your life. And I know social media is needed for our businesses, but it's a different thing to, create a story for your business, have it take 15 minutes and be very intentional about that time versus mindless scrolling throughout the day. And another thing is your email inbox. So if this is what happened to me, I was constantly checking my email throughout the day. I'd be in the flow working on a project, and then I check my email inbox, and I'd feel the need to get back, to them right away, and that would break the flow. And I noticed it was taking up a lot of my time when I would check it periodically throughout the day. So now I only check my email in the morning and at night. That's it. And that way it's not breaking the flow of whatever I'm working on throughout the day. Okay, so number four is to create a routine that leaves time for renewal. So I'm probably gonna butcher saying this, but our bodies follow an ultradian cycle. And basically what that means is that you have 90 minutes where people can feel very focused, but past those 90 minutes, people just really need breaks. They tend to lose focus. So we tend to work in these cycles. So I would say after 90 minutes of work, make sure to give yourself a solid break of at least, 20 minutes and do something that energizes you. For me, that's going on a walk, playing the piano. Putting on some fun music and dancing in my living room. Reading, writing, things like that add more energy into my life. But I notice that when I scroll on social media or watch TV during the breaks, it zaps my energy. I think it's just too much for my brain to process. You're, taking in so much information with the TV or social media, and your brain is really working to process all of that. I don't know what it is about it, but it definitely zaps my energy. So just take note that whatever you're doing on that time that should be a break, make sure that it energizes you and it leaves you feeling creative and renewed. And keep in mind that these breaks are not frivolous. They actually are going to lead to more consistent energy and, more creativity and productivity, because we need breaks in order to give our full focus later on. And you can ditch the breaks and you can instead go on with, a ton of coffee or sugar. I've definitely done that, but keep in mind that there's always a price to pay. When you do this, it really increases your cortisol, your stress hormones. This leads to disease, it leads to weight gain, it leads you to being possibly, in my case, very grumpy. So just keep in mind that, your body is something that it needs rest, people. It needs rest. And it's important to give it that. At the end of the day, it's kind of like a machine and we need to protect it and take care of it. Okay, so tip number 5 and the final tip is to use the Pomodoro Technique. Now, I have tried so many planners to help be more productive, and really this technique is the only thing that has worked for me. So I suggest trying it out. It's completely free. You don't need to buy anything to do this. All you really need is a timer on your phone and computer and a piece of paper and pen. Easy as that. So basically the idea of the technique is that you work in 25 minutes with 5-minute breaks after each 25 minutes of work. After 5 rounds of working for 25 minutes, you take a longer break of 25 to 30 minutes. So by doing this, you really focus a lot more with those 25 minutes. That's what I have found. I feel way more productive. And because I know, hey, I'm only working for 25 minutes and then I get a 5-minute break, I don't know, something about that just really motivates me. Whereas when I don't feel a break coming on, I'm just like, let me just scroll through Instagram or Facebook, and I end up taking way longer breaks throughout the day. So this is very strategic as far as timing goes. It's something that I really, really love to use, and it definitely makes a big difference when I use it. So that's it, guys. Those are my tips for being more productive. Hopefully this helps you, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.